Here's my interview with Brian Dowling for Celebrity Big Brother 2012.
You're silly.
So busy at the moment. Well, I mean, I sit next to the fellow off the diary, and he, Adam Helliker, and he was saying you were there last night at Richard's.
Yes, I was. I had the honour of hosting the whole event.
How was it?
It was good because it was Richard's birthday party, but also we did the OK International Awards as well. So it was like OK Editor of the Year, Magazine of the Year, Scoop of the Year, Marketing Director of the Year. So it was all of that. So it was a bit like the Golden Globes. It was really weird because there was so many celebrities.
Yeah.
You know, Philip Green was there, Sir Alan Sugar was there, of course, Richard Desmond was there. So it was almost a bit like, oh my God, and I'm hosting it. And then, of course, it was very moving because his son made a speech, his brother made a speech, his partner Joy made a speech, and then there was a cake, and then there was dancer. It was all very weird.
Do you do a lot of that now? Or is
you know
that
what?
quite unusual for you to step out and do that?
Do you know what? No, I mean, I've always done, like, I think over the years, I've been doing what I'm doing for like 10 years. I've done events. I think the biggest thing I did was the L Style Fashion Awards.
Oh, right.
I hosted that. Yeah, that was a massive thing. And that was like a massive thing. So I do them, but because I'm at Channel 5 and I know Richard.
Yeah.
You know, and the channel's, you know, it's been such a good year for the channel with Richard taking it over, of course, doing Big Brother and that doing really well. That was kind of, I think it was more of a celebration as well as everything else. And also the new face of the channel. So yeah, it was quite good going there. I couldn't get too drunk because I've been on This Morning every day this week doing a segment on that. So I was like, the one night I can actually go out, get a little pissed. Lovely cocktails. I can't because I've got my call time at 8:30.
Well, things must be fantastic at the moment. I mean, you've got Big Brother's done beyond expectations.
Yeah.
You must be delighted.
Do you know, it's really weird because obviously I've been doing what I've been doing for 10 years. Because it's difficult, it's competitive. I've had opportunities, but I've always done live telly. I've always worked on some nice programmes, and I obviously went back into Ultimate last year and won that. Amazing. And then they're like, you know, Big Brother's finished. I was like, oh my God, it's finished. Oh. And then I was at 5 doing Live from Studio 5, which is like a magazine type show. And then they said, look, we think Big Brother's coming back. And I was like, oh, is it? Because I didn't, you know, in my mind, it was dead. But I didn't, honestly, I didn't expect, because you don't, I don't think like that. And they said, yeah, you know, it's something you
Did you feel it was dead?
Yes, I mean, I think I did because it was at Channel 4, and, you know, they had the big reunion of all the big characters. Yeah. You know, they had this big spectacle. It was a funeral. It was done. It was dusted. And I felt that, you know, I won it 10 years ago. For me, it was like, well, it's done. You know, and I'm the last person leaving. And it's only in an arrogant way I went, well, it's going to end at me. So I think it's maybe more like arrogance. And then they said it's coming back, and I went, oh my God, you know, it's coming back. And then Endemol got in contact with my my agent Craig and Debbie Allen and said, we'd like to see Brian. And I'm like, right. But again, I didn't put myself in the main role. I just wouldn't. Mm-hmm. And they said the show's coming back this year in August. This is like April. And I went, August? Fuck, I went, that's really quick. And they went, yeah. And I said, you know, what's going on? Why? You see me there? We would like you involved, but we don't know how. And then it was suggested that perhaps as part of the live show, I could interview the friends and family. And I went, okay, I could probably do the interview friends and family in the main show. And I said, and that was good. Came back in again. And I said, well, to be honest, I think I'm more suited potentially maybe to a spin-off show. Yeah. I said, because, you know, I can have more fun. Little brother, they said, you know, Little Brother's not coming back. Mm-hmm. You know, and I went, oh, well, that kind of rules me out. And then I went away, and then they said, did I want to come in, did I want to test for the show? And I went, oh God, yeah. And I went, well, come on, let's be realistic. I know this show inside out.
Absolutely.
I've lived it. I've been in there twice. I've won twice. I said, great. So I went in and I tested at the house. I tested for the live show. And I also tested for a spin-off show. And that was great. I went away to Croatia for my friend's wedding. In the back of my mind, thinking, well, I might get something out of it, not knowing. And then they called me back in again, showed me my fucking screen test. And I was like, oh, yes. Do you know what? They went, can you change? Can you make this a little bit better?
God, it must be so embarrassing.
It was embarrassing. It was because also, which is, you know, even like, I don't even have a show reel. I've been quite lucky. I've never needed one. No. So, but also when I'm on telly, I sometimes don't watch myself on telly. I find it weird. So when you're watching with producers and people at Endemol, and I went, great. And then I went, then I came back in again, and I had to interview people who've applied for the show, 20 contestants, by just reading their bios. one after one after one after one, and then they graded me on what I need to improve on. Still wasn't off with the show, and then came back in again, did more interviews.
What were you thinking during this process?
I was obviously...
Were you thinking, I'm getting further and further away?
No, do you know what? No, I think like anything, I obviously think they wanted to work with me, but I felt, and potentially maybe they wanted to mould me or point me in the direction they wanted me to go with the show. And then they offered it to me, and they just said that, they feel that I'm the only one that they feel the fans would stay loyal to and like because they voted for me. And I've had a journey for 10 years. I work in telly. I've done live television. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God. And then I suppose I realised, can I do it? Can I actually do it? And then I started to panic because Davina had done it for so long.
Of course.
Everyone loved her. She's amazing. And then the whole ratings thing, I was like, oh.
And did you feel it was a risk to do it?
Do you know what? I kind of thought, in a way, not really, because there was nothing I can lose from doing it. I've always been in and out of television for years. So I've worked on some great shows that were amazing. I've worked on some shows that weren't so good. But I think I've always been consistently good at what I've done, whether it be big or small. So I think by doing this, I kind of thought to myself, well, nothing bad can come of it, really, because I know the show. It's been my life for so long.
What about the fact that Channel 5 had been newly bought by Richard?
Yeah.
This was the bigger flagship.
It was the show.
For the channel. I mean, did you feel the pressure of that?
I did, but I think what made it easy was the fact it was a show that I know that I've lived. It was also moving to a different channel, who wanted to change it. They wanted to make their mark on it. And by that, they wanted it younger, they wanted it slightly sexier, and they wanted it to be an entertainment show. It's not a social experiment anymore. There's no chickens, there's no barbed wires, it's entertainment and it's fun. And they wanted me to be part of that journey, and they felt that I represented where they wanted to go with the show. And then it came around really quickly. I remember hitting the gym quite a lot. I did. I felt the pressure. I put on a bit now. I did, because I just felt the pressure of, I wanted to be my best. I wanted to look the best that I could potentially do. And then I remember it just happening really quick. All the press, all the pictures, all the interest. I didn't expect it to be so big.
But it was received extraordinarily well.
It was.
Across the press.
Yeah. I mean, our first show...
What do you think that was? What was it about? Was it...
Do you know
wasn't
what?
just nostalgia.
I think what it was, honestly, I think the first show peaked over 8 million, which had never done on Channel 4. I think people tuned in, A, fans of the show, and then B, curiosity. Davina's not doing it. Maybe expecting a car crash. And I was realistic and thinking, but we averaged to 5 point something, and then we maintained a 3 million, 4 million for Celebrity, which was amazing.
And then, of course, Paddy won, which was extraordinary. And to me, that said the show has life because it's discovered a celebrity, hasn't it?
But also, I think what that show does, it transcends sex, sexuality, race, and where people are from. I'm a gay man, openly gay, one. Nadia, a transsexual, one.
And is that still
Paddy.
important? Is it still important?
I think
do people recognise it as that?
Yeah, I think Paddy, coming from the travelling community himself, found that he battled all his life to find acceptance. He's on a popularity contest where people pick up the phone and go, do you know what, regardless of that, forget all the taboos or the bullshit attached to it, you're a nice man. So I think Big Brother's good at highlighting stuff like that socially, in a way.
So it's still got, ironically, a social role. I mean, it's not a social experiment, but it's doing something, I
think it's relevant to society, to the way people think. I think it was amazing that he won. And then, of course, we did the normal one. We call it the normal one. And that, again, did really well. And on our shows on a Friday, we were beating shows, Channel 4, ITV, BBC. It was amazing.
And is it finding a new audience, do you think?
I think the age group from 16 to 35 has trebled to Channel 5 since Big Brother. It's that young people. But for me, it's been, even for myself, when I watched the first show, my aim wasn't to ace the first show. My aim wasn't to ace the first 3 shows. My aim was to be able to get on the stage, get my timings, get to a commercial break, and get off air.
And how did you feel? I'm trying to remember the celebrity you had a little moment with right towards the end.
Was it Pamela Back Hasselhoff? Yes. Her microphone got cut. Oh God, don't go there. It was bizarre because it went smoothly.
It did, and then
I think Kerry was the first one out, and I was Kerry Katona, and she was so nervous. And the fact that she was so nervous made me say, I got to step up here now, because they look to me.
Terrifying.
They do, and they're celebrities, and I'm going, they're more famous than I am. But it's not about that. It's about because I've been through the experience, and it just clicked that it felt so natural from the first person on. But because they're celebrities, I expected it to be no problems. Then Pamela Beck Hasselhoff totters down in these massive heels. She hugs me, and then she gets caught in my shirt, and I have to spin around. And then she says to me, "Oh, how would you know? You've never done this." And I'm thinking in my mind, "Bitch, I've done it twice." And
that was a good start.
It was, and it was just bizarre. But you know what? The one thing is, you can't control. You can only control certain aspects of live television. When you're working with other people, anything can happen. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
And I used
they're great moments, aren't they? I think the audience love to see those.
Because they're going, "Oh my God, what has just happened?" And I think I acknowledge those moments. I don't try and hide mistakes. If I fluff, I'll go, "Oh God, sorry about that," and I'll try and I'll do it again.
Yeah.
I think it's if you make a mistake and you cover it up, people go, "What's wrong with you? You just made a mistake." But the show, I didn't expect it to do so well, and I'm back again for all of this year. I'm doing the February one, and I'm also doing the summer one.
Great. And do you know who the lineup is yet?
Honestly, and this is the God honest truth, I won't know 100% until the 3rd of January.
Oh right. So and then how will you be briefed? What will happen? Or will
I have
put down on the runway. And then
I have a technical rehearsal. We will go in. We'll do a show on the 3rd, which will be technical, and we'll do it with more or less the same script as last year's Celebrity.
Oh, I see.
And then afterwards I'll be taken away into a room, and they'll go, "Here we go," and they'll probably show me their profiles, videos.
I have seen a list of names, but it's
Who have you seen?
It's sheer speculation.
But I say there's always an element of truth, because I'm hearing the same names, so
I saw a reserve list of 5 as well, so I don't.
What's that? Oh, show me what's the reserve list. I love it. You know more than I do. This is the thing. I did the press thing the other day. I'm sorry, we did the interviews. I heard Natalie Cassidy. I went, "My God, it's Natalie Cassidy." I think she'd be great. I heard Denise Welch. I think Denise would be great. I heard, who else? The rumor, Frankie Kokoza. I wasn't sure about Frankie Kokoza purely only because
I suppose he's coming from one
to the other,
yeah.
And I'm not quite sure that's sensible, considering, especially the way in which he had left the X Factor with all those allegations about narcotics, and I'm not quite sure. But I think Frankie said himself, Frankie wants to be famous.
What do you think of that notion? Because of course these shows, in a sense, that's in their DNA.
They do, but you know what? I think over the last few years, it's very short-lived. I think I've been very lucky. I've always said the people that have done really well was myself, did really well. Craig Phillips has done quite well. People forget about Craig. Yeah. Craig's got businesses. He's got a great portfolio. He's done really well. I would like to think I've done well. Jade Rester. Yeah. Jade was phenomenal in the sense that I think Jade created celebrity in a way, and what she did, and a brand, and it made people go, "Oh my God." But I think in latter years, when it comes to people in the house, I think they've got a short time for when they leave, because there's so many shows and people. But I think they know that. I think people go.
So you think that in their own minds when they go into the show, they realise.
I think people realise I've got an opportunity here to make some money, and I see nothing wrong with that. If as a fan of the show,
it does depress me that I do hear young people and they go, "Young people, I just want to be famous."
Yeah.
I just want to.
I don't understand that, because it's really bizarre. And I've always said this. I've never wanted to be famous, even growing up. I just didn't. It was nothing that I went to school. We had to get jobs for pocket money. Our parents encouraged us to work for money, and then I remember I was a flight attendant at Ryanair, and I watched the last of the Big Brother. I went, "Oh my God, it'd be amazing." Sent in an application form, but I mean, part of me thought I must have wanted something, but I wasn't fame because we'd nothing to balance it against. There was nothing going on at that time. We'd seen the first one, but nothing really happened to those contestants.
It was a very different show then in a way.
It was.
And we hadn't really established this
what the show
type
was.
of celebrity in a sense.
I mean, the year that I did it was the first year they had a spin-off show, which was Little Brother. Yeah. The first year they had live feed. And I think the first year that the celebrity magazines really took off. So I think for me, when you take those in consideration, I think that helped. And the people, me and us that were there.
Those that haven't done well from it, why is that? They've just.
Do you know what I think? I think sometimes people expect too much from it, and I think you can't expect to live in a house for how many number of weeks and expect you to change your life. Unfortunately, that can't happen to everyone. I would like to think that I've been very, very lucky. I've been given an opportunity, but I must have an ability to do it. I think you've got to have an ability. There's got to be something about you that's different. And I think I was quite lucky 10 years ago that it was fresh, it was new, it was different. I was openly gay and I presented kids television, which had never been done before. And I was thinking at the time, what's the big deal? I didn't realise being 22, doing SMTV Live, and being gay was an issue. But I was so shocked to find out no one had done it before me. No one had been openly gay. And I'm going, why? It didn't make sense. And even doing kids telly at SMTV with Tess daily for just under 2 years, that was my first job. It's just bizarre even thinking about it now. That I didn't realise it was such a big thing that I was gay. Because me and all the parents thought I fancied Will Young because he was on the show a lot. And I'm going, their parents are talking to me about fancying Will Young. And the kids think I'm dating Tess. It was fucking my mind. I'm like, no, I'm not dating Will and I'm not dating Tess.
It often strikes me on these shows that if a contestant's got a degree of honesty and the audience can see that tends to help regardless of what their background is. Do you think that?
I think, I've always said this, and what's the key to winning? There's no definite key. I think you've got to be yourself, right? But as I've said, not everyone can be liked to the same degree. We all have friends, but we like certain friends more than others. I think it is a popularity contest. But I just think, for me, and I've always said this, and this is no offence, I was the best out of a bad bunch, but I don't mean that in an arrogant way, but that's, in a sense, what it is.
But in your version, in that year, you seem like the immediate winner to me. I mean,
do you know what?
I think most people would say.
Do you know what? It's weird because I watched the show back. This is going back years ago now. Yeah, I watched it back obsessed, and I wasn't really in the show that much.
No.
And I remember they weren't going to send me in.
But in a sense,
because they thought I was too nervous.
Dougie in I'm a Celebrity.
Yeah, maybe.
Not in the edit.
Yeah. And then I think for me personally, because I'm myself all the time, and I think that when you're in those situations, I couldn't vie for attention. It's just not me. If I'm in a situation and I'm having fun, that's fantastic. If people are arguing or doing something, I'm not going to do that. But then back 10 years ago, we still didn't know how it worked. So we didn't know anything about editing or how the show worked, because we'd only seen one that was on for like 6 or 7 weeks. So I think I was just myself, and I was never nominated, so I didn't face the public vote.
I suppose that's important in a way. So you have to be liked. So you're not. So you're not.
I knew that I was liked in the house. I was never but I didn't know I was liked by the public. So I sailed through to the final, not realising where I stood. And then I remember it was myself, Helen, and Dean. Then myself and Helen, and then I remember Helen, after winning 2 or 3 public votes, and I kind of went, well, it's obviously a done deal. She's obviously most popular. I've not been up. And then Davina went the winner. I just got 4-point-something million votes, and we were going, oh my god! And the runner-up, we were the runner-up. So people vote that's like not 8 million votes. We were going, how is this possible? And then Davina went the winner is, and we were like, Jesus, hurry up! And me and Helen were hugging. She said, Brian, and I was like, how's that happened? And then it happened with Nikki again for Ultimate. And it was weird how they both mirrored each other. When I watched it back, and we both stood up, Davina, and it was a very weird thing how it's just come around for me. It's very bizarre. I wasn't nominated there either. Again, I don't know how because
you really are the ultimate.
Yeah, my friends say to me, "Oh, I would nominate you," but I think that's because my friends know me and they see me all the time.
They'll be winding you up as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, do you ever think what would have happened if you hadn't won?
Yes, I've always said I had a dream, and the dream was always to be a holiday rep, which I was. I then wanted to be an air steward, which I was, and I then wanted to work in a department store, but I wanted to work like in Selfridges, a department store, and I wanted to work on almost like the information desk or be reception,
like sort of concierge of Selfridges.
Yes, because I like working with people. I've always been a people person. I like meeting people. I loved flying, and I thought that's where I'd go. I thought I'd leave Ryanair and I'd go and work in a department store. And be front of house and be all tanned and nice.
Now you're front of house, but with the camera in front.
But you know what? Basically, I think anyone that is a presenter is just front of house, and that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And I think the people watching are the people you're supposed to look after. And
did you ever think about doing anything else? Acting?
I had opportunity.
Being James Bond?
Gay Bond. I've done... When I did SMTV Live, we did lots of sketches, and we dressed up, mainly as women, and that was funny. And then I got an opportunity I've done panto in Ireland a few times, and I got the opportunity to go into an Irish soap but I was offered the part. It's going to be written for me, but I actually couldn't do it because I did a show over here called Hell's Kitchen instead.
Yes.
At the same time.
Yeah.
I cried a lot in Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, well, I read the line this morning about Jim Davidson. I'd forgotten all about that. Yeah, has Jim been in contact? He's mellowed quite a bit.
I met Jim since, and he was very apologetic, and he apologised.
Oh, was he? Well,
yeah.
He has mellowed, isn't
yeah.
he? I mean, he's
Do you know what? That's a weird situation because I think I wasn't in a happy place in my life, and I think that's what I think when you in these shows when you do them, I think people underestimate the pressure. I mean, I'd come from a relationship that had ended. I just wasn't, I'd finished a show called The Mint, actually, which I'd done for a year for ITV, which was a late night thing. I loved it. But I was getting over a breakup, and you're working till like 4 or 5 in the morning. You're still doing bits in between, and even that kind of messed with me. And then they approached me about doing Hell's Kitchen, and I was like, oh God. And then I went, to raise your profile in this industry, you have to do reality shows. That's what it's all about. That's what people expect. And I go, great. Hell's Kitchen's a great show. Mark and Pierre White did that, and then I was myself, but when I just couldn't cope with the gym thing. I was just really I couldn't understand.
Anyone in your situation could.
Yeah, because I kind of went, God, I've been accepted all of my life. Why is this an issue now? I think he was surprised I had a problem with it, but I went, that's a good thing. Yeah. It's a good thing. At what wage was I? I was in 28. At 28, I can say this has never happened before. That means there's been growth, there's been progress. And the fact, and he kept saying, oh, I've got loads of gay friends, but don't speak to me like that.
No, that's patronising, isn't it?
Yeah.
But do you think there is still a battle for gay people in television? It's not really, is there? I mean, is it an acceptance thing?
I think people always say the gays run television. I mean,
the gay mafia. That's
the gay mafia. Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of gay men that work in television behind the scenes. Yes, I think you can say that about lots of jobs. But I think I think gay men on television are represented. I think people think that we're represented, in the one way. But I mean, the gay men on television are Graham Norton. Graham Norton is one of my icons. A, he's Irish, and B, he's super talented, and he works really, really hard. And on his show, he can say what he wants. And like, even if someone's publicist goes, "Don't ask her that question," Graham will be like, "Yeah, I will." I also love Julian Clary. Yeah, because he was so bold.
Well, he was out there to begin with, wasn't he? I suppose there have been people before him, but
but the costumes and the makeup, amazing. Yeah. I was on this morning with Paul O'Grady today. I love Paul O'Grady. He's such a lovely man. He always says hello, and funny and humorous. So I think, Alan Carr. Oh, I think I've got a crush on Alan Carr. It's a bit weird.
Does he know?
I don't know. He might now. I like Alan Carr. He's funny.
So do you imagine yourself doing a chat show?
Do you know, people always say that to me. Do you know what? No, I don't. I just don't. I'm not a comedian. I see Graham as a comedian. I see Alan as a comedian. It's just not me. I'm not a comedian. I wouldn't feel right now. It wouldn't be something I'd want to do. No, it wouldn't be.
And so, anything else in TV you'd like to do?
Yeah, do you know what? I'm with Big Brother. I'm only with Big Brother till next year and stuff. And there's been opportunities to meet different people and ideas. I loved a show that Davina McCall hosted, which was Street Mate.
Oh, yes.
I thought that was a great show. So something along a dating show, a travel show. I've been an air steward, so maybe travelling. But also, I'd like to dabble with the acting at some point as well.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I'd like
to get offered scripts.
Do you know what? I did actually recently get offered something to go in and test for something for the BBC.
Really?
And I remember where was I? I was away and I was supposed to come back, and then I came back and I chickened out. I didn't feel brave enough to do it.
Really? Could you tell me what it was?
I can't say what it was, no, but I think when it comes out, and my agency, and they were keen, and I wasn't here the first day, and then I came back and then I read it, and I actually didn't feel brave enough. I didn't feel that I could go in.
And yet you do live television.
I know, it's very weird in that situation. I just didn't feel I could go in and sit with actors who it's their, they do it. Job. And I'm thinking, I'm really lucky to do what I do. I should maybe just be so grateful and thankful. And I kind of thought, it's just maybe not me yet. And plus, I'm so focused on Big Brother that...
Well, of course, yeah.
I want to ace that, and I want to make sure we come back in January. And I think we will. I think it'll be quite a successful series. And then we've got the summer. And then, when I've got that under my belt... I'm still very young.
You are indeed.
I'm a mere child.
Good luck with it all.
I mean... If it's the list we've all heard...
I think it sounds really good. I do. I mean, I was surprised, and I think because I don't think anybody knew. Thanks for listening. You can download my books from Amazon.com.